Electrophysiology of heart is a very important topic. It deals with the electrical changes occurring across the cell membrane. It can be asked as a long answer question in the university examinations, practical exams, and in the NEET PG. In this video, I am going to tell you what are these changes and how they occur. Hey everyone, welcome back to HM Learnings. I am Harshita, the founder of HM Learnings, where students come to clear their concepts and to get the study material. Make sure that you have subscribed my channel. So let's start. Electrophysiology is the study of the physiology of electrical activity at the cell membrane. We know that the body has electrolytes. The body fluid has electrolytes, and the electrolytes are nothing but the ions. And whenever there is an ion, there will be electrical activity, because electrical activity are always because of the ion. Now this is a cell and this is a cell membrane. So you have to remember that in the body there is uneven distribution of ions. There is uneven distribution of ions. Now you can understand this as on the inner side of the cell membrane there are more negative charges, whereas on the outer side of the membrane there are more positive charges. So there is no achievement of the electroneutrality, and hence the ions have the tendency to move from one side of the membrane to the another side of the membrane, and this is what called as the electric potential. Potential or the voltage is defined as the tendency of the ion to move from one side to the another side along its concentration or the electric gradient. So because positive charges are more on the outer side, they have a tendency to move from outer side to the inner side along their concentration gradient and electrical gradient. Similarly, as the negative charges are more on the inner side, they have a tendency to move from inner to the outer side along their concentration and the electrical gradient. This is called as the electric potential. Now the difference in the electric potential across the membrane is called as a membrane potential. So membrane potential is the difference of the electric potential across the cell membrane. Now if the cell is at rest, that potential is called as the resting membrane potential. And if the cell is excited, there will be change in the membrane potential, and that change is called as the action potential. So now, why there is uneven distribution of ions? Why these ions are not distributed equally under the normal conditions or at the rest? So this is because of the channels, or you can say, firstly I will tell you that ions are what? Ions are water soluble. They are water soluble. So if I zoom out this region, this shows a membrane is made up of lipid bilayer. The membrane is made up of lipid bilayer, and hence it will allow only the lipid soluble substances to pass through it. Okay, so ions are water soluble. So this membrane, this lipid bilayer membrane will not allow the transport of the ions. So these ions need the help of some type of the proteins which spans the membrane, and these type of proteins are called as the transport proteins. And this transport protein basically form a bridge for the passage of the ion from one side of the cell to the another side of the membrane. Now here there are various type of the transport proteins like the like the pumps, ATPs and pores, channels, but I am more interested here in the channels. We will talk about a one type of the transport protein called as the channels. So there is uneven distribution of ions because ions are water soluble and they need a transport protein for their transport, and they need channels. So channels are what? They are specific. They allow only a specific ion to pass through it. Like for example, potassium channel. So potassium channel is channel which allow only the potassium to pass through it. It will not allow sodium to pass through it. So these channels are specific. So the permeability of the membrane for a specific ion will actually depend upon the number of the channels for that ion in the membrane. If the channels are more for the specific ion in the cell membrane, the membrane will be more permeable for that ion. For example, potassium. So during rest, what happens? Most of the potassium channels are open. So they allow the potassium to pass through it. And that's why the membrane permeability for the potassium ion is maximum during the rest, because it allows the membrane to pass through it by the help of the channels. So the membrane permeability depends upon the number of the channels for the specific ion for that ion. Now the next is what is the number of activated channel. So during the rest, the number of activated channels for the potassium is the maximum. But when the membrane is excited, at that time the number of the activated channels for the sodium is maximum. So now the membrane will be most permeable to sodium. The last factor is the fraction of the time and the speed of gating, that how much time the channel will remain open and what is the speed of its opening and closing. So this will be explained further. Up to this point, you just remember that there is uneven distribution of ions because ions are water soluble. They need the transport protein, and transport protein is governed by many factors. It depends upon their population, it depends upon their gating mechanism, and it depends upon the number of the channels and how many channels are activated at a particular time. Okay, so up to this point we know what is electrophysiology, what is electrical activity. Electrical activity is because of the ions. Why there is membrane potential is because of the uneven distribution of ions. And why there is uneven distribution of ions? Because the ions are water soluble and they depend on the transport proteins. Transport proteins are affected by the many factors. Now the next question is, what happens when there is a change in a membrane potential? So how the membrane potential is get changed? So membrane potential is changed in response to a stimulus. An electrical stimulus has came. Electrical stimulus is what? It is the small amount of the ions. Here the ions will be in the small amount. So the electrical stimulus has came, the small number of ions has came, and it will cause a little change in membrane potential. And this little change in the membrane potential will be detected by voltage sensor domain in the voltage gated channel. Okay, so we are talking about a specific type of the transport protein called as a channel, and channels are also of various type like voltage gated and ligand gated and many so. But here we are more interested in voltage gated channel. So voltage gated means whenever there is a change in a membrane potential, they will open or they will close. They have gates. The gates will respond to the change in the membrane potential, and that change in the membrane potential will be detected by the voltage sensor domain. So voltage sensor domain will detect there is change in the membrane potential. So it will lead to the opening of the voltage gated channel. So voltage gated channel will open. So if the channel is open, what will happen? There will be flow of the ions. So as there is flow of ion, there will be flow of current. Flow of current means there will be generation of electrical signal. And if there is electrical signal generated, what does it mean? It means that there is a change in the external environment, and that electrical change basically it tells the cell that there is a change in the external environment. So it responds. Now how does the cell responds to it? The cell will sense this change and it will respond to it. Here the cell is cardiac muscle, so it will respond by contraction. That is the mechanical response. So whenever there is a change in electrical potential, it is because of the electrical stimulus which has came, and it has came because there is a change in the external environment. It wants the cell to do something in response to that change, and the cell, after getting the change, after knowing that there is a change in the electrical potential, it will respond to it, and it is a muscle, then it will contract. It will give its mechanical response. Okay, so we have completed the basic things. It is very important to clear your basics before jumping to the topic. If you don't know all these things, what will happen? You just finish all the topic, you just read about the electrophysiology of heart, and after that you just think that why I have read this, and what is the significance of knowing all these things. Okay, so it is very important to clear a very basic thing regarding every topic. So there is generation of the electrical signal. The electrical signal has been generated, and it will bring about a change in the membrane potential, and that transient change in the membrane potential is called as the action potential. In the heart, there are two types of the action potential: fast response, and the other one is slow response action potential. What is the difference between these two types of the potential, and why this is called as a fast response, why this is called as a slow response? We will also cover this point also. And in this video, I will limit my discussion to the fast response. In the upcoming video, we will discuss about the slow response and the difference between these two types of action potential. So let's start with the fast response action potential. So fast response action potential occurs in the atrial muscle, ventricular muscle, and the His-Purkinje system. It is called as a fast because of the faster rate of depolarization. Action potential has two phases: depolarization and the repolarization. So here the depolarization is very rapid. Okay, within there is no change in the time, but the membrane potential is running. Okay, it is running towards the positive. So membrane potential is increasing, and it is increasing at a very faster rate. So it is called as a fast response action potential because of this fast response. So you know that in the rest, the cell is more negative on the inner side, and it is more positive on the outer side. But when an electrical signal has came, what will happen? This will be changed. So what will happen? They will be more negative on the outer side and more positivity on the inner side. So how could be this achieved? This could be achieved only when there is a opening of certain transport protein on the membrane, and that transport protein will allow the positive ion to move from outer side to the inner side of the membrane. Only then the membrane potential will move towards the positive side, or there is change in the membrane potential, there is positivity on the inner side of the cell. So here this change in the membrane potential or the inner side of the membrane becomes positive because of the opening of the channel called as the voltage gated sodium channel. So voltage gated sodium channels are the one which open in response to the change in the voltage. Their voltage sensor domain will detect the change, and this will allow the passive flow of the sodium from outer side to the inner side of the membrane along its concentration and the electrical gradient. So this phase 0 is because of the opening of the voltage gated sodium channel, and it will allow the passive inward flow of the sodium from the outer side to the inner side of the membrane. Now we look at the little bit about the kinetics of this voltage gated sodium channel. So this voltage gated sodium channel has actually gates. I have already told you that the voltage gated sodium channel has gates. So in this voltage gated sodium channel, it has two gates. It has activation gate and it has inactivation gate. The activation gate is closed at the time when the cell is at rest, or we can say when the membrane is at rest. At about minus 90 millivolts, the activation gate is closed but the inactivation gate is opened. It is in the resting configuration, and when there is an electrical signal came, the electrical signal will change this configuration from resting to the open configuration, and this process is called as the activation. In the open configuration, the activation gate is opened and the inactivation gate is still open but it starts to close. So activation and inactivation occurs simultaneously, but the activation is very rapid as compared to the inactivation. The channel remains open and the sodium can flow from the outer side to the inner side of the membrane. Because what happens when electrical signal has came, the activation gate opens very rapidly and inactivation gate starts to close, but that closing of the gate is slow as compared to the activation gate opening. As a result, the sodium will flow inside the cell. Now at about 0 millivolts of the membrane potential, finally the inactivation gate is closed. Okay, it is closing from the start of the depolarization, but now at about 0 millivolts it is finally able to closed and the channel is entered into a state of the inactivation. Now the channel is inactive and this process is called as the inactivation. The channel remains in the inactivation till the membrane potential is minus 60 millivolt, and after the membrane potential decreases more than the minus 90 millivolt, this inactive configuration will change into the rest configuration, and this process is called as a reactivation. So this is a normal kinetics of the this voltage gated sodium channel. Okay, it is important to understand, and now we will just put it on the fast response action potential graph. So this is the resting state. Okay, when the membrane is at rest, when the cell is at rest, there is more positivity on the outer side and more negativity on the inner side. This voltage gated sodium channel is also at rest. The activation gate is closed and the inactivation gate is opened. Now the electrical stimulus has came and it caused the activation of the voltage gated sodium channel. The activation gate starts to close. The activation gate is opened. The inactivation gate starts to close, but it is not yet closed. So the sodium starts flowing inside the cell. As the sodium is moving inside the cell from the outer to the inner, the membrane potential starts increasing. Okay, it is abruptly increasing. It is very fastly increasing, leading to the name of fast response action potential. When it reaches 0 millivolt, the activation gate finally gets closed and the voltage gated sodium channels enters into a state of inactive. This process is called as the inactivation, and it remains inactivated after this remaining action potential, means after the phase 0 of action potential or after 0 millivolts of membrane potential, till the membrane potential is minus 60 millivolts. The voltage gated sodium channel will remain in this inactive state. So what is the significance of such remaining in such a longer type of inactivation, or for such a longer range of the membrane potential? This is responsible for the refractory period. If you remember, I have discussed the refractory period in properties of cardiac muscle. In that, I have said that refractory period is the time during which the nerve or the muscle will not respond to any kind of stimulus of whatever strength. Okay, so why this is so? This is because the voltage gated sodium channels, they are in their inactive form. They don't allow any sodium ions to flow, and what will happen as a result? There will be no response to the stimulus, the second stimulus will not be get responded because most of the sodium channels are in inactive form. So this inactivation is responsible for the absolute refractory period of the nerve as well as the muscle. Now after the membrane potential crosses minus 60 millivolt, move towards a more negative membrane potential, it will reactivate. Okay, it will change from its inactive form to the resting form again and ready for receiving the next stimulus. Okay, so refractory period, why? Refractory period is because of the inactivation of the sodium channel. The inactivation gate is remained open from 0 millivolt to minus 60 millivolts. Okay, so this is why I just tell you the kinetics of the voltage gated sodium channel. Now action potential, already told you, transient change in the membrane potential in response to electrical stimulus. It follows all or none law. Phases are from resting membrane potential to threshold, depolarization and repolarization. There are two types of action potential in heart: slow response and fast response. Fast response action potential has 5 phases. It is present in atrial, ventricular myocytes and the His-Purkinje fibers. There will be increase in sodium ion conductance due to the opening of voltage gated sodium channel. There will be movement of the sodium ion from outer side of the cell to the inner side of the cell. Depolarization is very rapid because the activation gate of sodium channel is open very fast and it lasts only for 2 milliseconds. Why? Because it is very rapid. It doesn't need to last for a longer duration because it is very rapid. Then a very important point, that the sodium current is actually regenerative. It is following a positive feedback pathway. So whenever a small amount of sodium enters, it will cause opening of the channel. More opening of channel means more sodium channels will enter. More sodium channels enter means there will be more opening of the channel. So this is a positive feedback cycle. More sodium, more channels will be open. More channels open, more sodium enter. Okay. Then the next phase is early rapid repolarization. So phase 0 is because of the opening of the voltage gated sodium channel. There is increase in the sodium current moving towards the inner side of the cell, and after depolarization what will happen? Repolarization. So repolarization means that the membrane potential will start moving towards its resting membrane potential. It is repolarizing. So phase 1 is because of what? The rapid repolarization is why? Because the first reason is that there is already inactivation of the voltage gated sodium channel. And the voltage gated sodium channel is already inactivated. Okay, so if they are not inactivated means that they are not open. And if they are not open means no sodium can now enter inside the cell, because we said that ions are water soluble, so they need channel. So if the channel is closed, sodium can't enter inside the cell. Okay, so if the sodium is not entering inside the cell, the positivity will be decreased. So there will be initiation of the repolarization, as well as the another type of the channel will come and play a role here, that is a transient outward potassium channel. So transient means what? For a short duration. Outward means it will allow the potassium to move out of the cell for a very smaller duration. Okay, this channel is actually a very rapid channel. It is rapidly activated by the depolarization and it soon inactivates. So there is stop of this activation repolarization process at this point. Okay, so this early rapid repolarization is because of two reasons. First of all, there is inactivation of the voltage gated sodium channel, and the second reason is the activation of the transient outward potassium channel, which allows a transient efflux of the potassium ion from inner side of the cell to the outer side of the cell. Okay, the next phase is phase 2. Phase 2 is which phase? plateau phase. Okay, now plateau phase is what? It is a phase of sustained depolarization. You can see here the membrane potential is not changing, it is maintained at the same point. With the time is increasing, but the membrane potential is not changing. Okay, so why it is so? It is so, the first reason of the plateau phase is that there is inactivation of the sodium, inactivation of voltage gated sodium channels. Okay, we have seen that the sodium channels get inactivated at 0 millivolts and they remain activated in the rest of the part of the action potential, and they contribute to the refractory period. They also contribute to the plateau phase, and plateau phase contributes to the refractory period. We will cover that point later. And the second thing is, another type of the channel which came into here is the L-type voltage gated calcium channel. It follows the same kinetics as a voltage gated sodium channel. Okay, it has also activation gate, it has also inactivation gate, but it follows a slower kinetics. Its activation is very slow. It gets activated during the depolarization, but its activation gate is very slow to open, so it doesn't open in this phase. In the phase 0, if it is opened, very less contribution by it. It has a major contribution in phase 2 because it gets completely opened by this time when the membrane has entered into phase 2. So what is happening? Because of this channel, the calcium starts coming inside the cell. So if the calcium is what? It is a positive ion. So if the positive ion starts moving inside the cell, what will happen? The membrane is depolarizing. Okay, but the membrane is not depolarizing. It is having a sustained depolarization. No repolarization, no depolarization. Sustained membrane potential. So that means if the calcium is entering, the cation, the another positive ion, has to move outside, and this is done by the potassium channel. There is one type of potassium channel which opens, and it is causing the potassium efflux. So 3 channels are responsible for the plateau phase: inactivation of the voltage gated sodium channel, L-type calcium channels which follow a very slower kinetics. They are already activated during the phase 0, but their activation gate fully opens during the phase 2, and now they are allowing the calcium influx. The potassium channel also opens here, and they are allowing the potassium efflux. Okay, maintaining the membrane potential at the same point. Okay, so these are the notes. Early rapid repolarization is rapid increase in membrane potential, occurs due to the inactivation of voltage gated sodium channel. Second point is activation of transit output rectifying potassium channel. Then the plateau phase is basically the sustained depolarization. What is the molecular basis of plateau phase? Already I have explained you. Sodium channel get inactivated, delayed activation of L-type calcium channels, and delayed opening of the potassium channel. Now, what is the significance of plateau phase? If you see the action potential of skeleton muscle, you will not find plateau phase there. But in the cardiac muscle, there is plateau phase. Because if there is a plateau phase, it actually prolongs the action potential. The skeleton muscle is having a action potential like this, but the cardiac muscle is having an action potential like this. So you can say there is a very long repolarization. It is because of which phase? Plateau phase. And what does the plateau phase do? During plateau phase, as I have said in the previous slide, there is calcium entry inside the cell. So calcium is very important for the muscle contraction, right? So calcium entering during plateau phase, So calcium entering during the plateau phase is very important for the calcium induced calcium release in the heart. Okay, so cardiac muscle follows some calcium induced calcium release in the for the cardiac muscle contraction. So it is very important for these calcium induced calcium release. Okay, and it is very important for excitation contraction coupling. So excitation contraction coupling agent is what? It is calcium. Okay, so calcium entry during the plateau phase is important for the calcium induced calcium release and excitation contraction coupling. Okay, the next thing is why action potential is prolonged. Why action potential is prolonged? Why we need a prolonged action potential? So that the cardiac muscle cannot be tetanized. The skeletal muscle can be tetanized, but the cardiac muscle should not be tetanized. So why the cardiac muscle is not tetanized and why it should not be tetanized? These are the answers which I have already give to you in my previous video of properties of cardiac muscle. So I will share the link in I button and in description box. Please go and watch that video to get the answers, because they are frequently asked in the vivas as well as in your entrance, and it is very important to clear the concept thoroughly. Secondly, if you watch this complete playlist in a series, it will really help you. If you just randomly select a video and start watching, it will little difficult for you. So I will recommend you to watch the whole playlist in a series. Okay, so these questions will be there in the previous video. Then the next phase is phase 3. The phase 3 is a rapid repolarization. So what happens, or what is the cause of rapid repolarization? Firstly, there will be inactivation of the voltage gated L-type calcium channels. So they get inactivated and the calcium influx will be now stopped. So first thing is the inactivation of the voltage gated L-type calcium channel. The second is the special type of the channel which opens is the outward delayed outward potassium channel. So this channel will allow the potassium to again get out of the cell. Okay, and it is very rapid. It will allow the potassium to go out of the cell very rapidly. So this is rapid repolarization. The last phase is finally the cell has achieved its resting membrane potential. So phase 4 is for the resting membrane potential. So sometimes what has happened, the potassium channel is actually slow to open and slow to close. So the potassium channel remained open for a longer duration. As a result, the hyperpolarization means the membrane potential becomes more negative than the resting membrane potential. In that case, we have to again achieve the resting membrane potential, and that is done by another type of the channel called as the potassium inward rectifier. So potassium inward rectifier is a channel which is actually maintaining the resting membrane potential. It follows a phenomena called as the inward rectification. So inward rectification is a process. It is a type of a channel which only allows or which favors the current to enter inside the cell and not to exit outside the cell. So when the cell is hyperpolarized, it will allow the potassium to enter inside the cell, but when the cell achieve its resting membrane potential, this channel will be plugged by some impermeable ion or some magnesium ions, so that the potassium cannot exit the cell again. So this is very, very important, that the potassium inward rectifier maintains the resting membrane potential. And how? By allowing the potassium ions to enter inside the cell when the cell is hyperpolarized, and it will not allow the potassium ions to exit the cell when the cell is at resting membrane potential. So this is again a note, okay, notes given to you. I am simultaneously providing you the notes also. You can pause the video and write it down. Always remember to draw a diagram of a action potential, because it will straightly give you 2 marks. Okay, if it is a 5 marks question, it will straightly give you 2 marks. And write the answers in a point fashion, okay, point wise. The next thing is, yes, resting membrane potential already I have explained you. The one point is that the resting membrane potential is minus 90 millivolts, but of the SA node and AV node it is less. It is minus 60 millivolts. So why? Because as you know, at the rest, already at the start of the video I have covered this point, that at the rest the potassium channels are maximum open, and that is why the permeability of the membrane for the potassium is maximum when the cell is at rest. Okay, so when the cell is rest and the permeability of the potassium is maximum, definitely the resting membrane potential will be close to the equilibrium potential of the potassium. So actually the pacemaker cells, they have a lower permeability, means they have a lower number of the channels of potassium, and that's why their resting membrane potential is little away from the equilibrium potential of potassium, or it is less negative. And secondly, because it is a pacemaker cell, it is more leaky to the sodium and the calcium ions, okay, so that it can spontaneously generate a rhythm. This point we will elaborate in our coming video, okay. So invert rectifier potassium channel is responsible for maintaining resting membrane potential. These are the references you can look forward for this topic, and in the upcoming video we will see that what is slow response action potential and what is the difference between slow response and fast response action potential. This is again a very important topic. Don't miss it out. Subscribe to my channel and please like, share and comment. Till then, keep learning.